Welcome to the Explainer. There's this massive shift happening in the AI world, and it's not what you think. It's not just about who's got the biggest, baddest model. It's something way more fundamental, and honestly, the clues are kind of hiding in plain sight. Let's look at three recent headlines you probably saw fly by. So first up, OpenAI. They just dropped these new mini and nano models. And this wasn't some minor update. No, this was a major launch, promising a 2x speed boost. Next, you've got Anthropic making this huge move, pouring a ton of money into raw computing power. We're talking locking down the next generation of chips for years to come. This is way beyond just buying a few more servers. It's like they're buying the whole factory. And then, almost under the radar, GitHub taps the brakes on their free trials for Copilot Pro. And the reason they gave? It's almost shockingly simple. Abuse. All right, so let's piece this together. A product launch, a massive infrastructure deal, and a little operational change. On the surface, they look totally separate, right? But they're not at all. These are three pieces of the same puzzle, and they're showing us the new rules of the game in AI. All right, Section 1, OpenAI, selling speed, not size. Let's kick things off with OpenAI, because what they're doing here is, well, it's not what it seems. This isn't just about giving people a cheaper option. It's a total pivot in what they're actually selling. For the longest time, the whole game was about building that one giant hero model, the one that could crush every single benchmark. But that's changing. The industry is pivoting big time. Now, the new goal? It's about building a whole portfolio of specialized models that can give you the lowest possible cost and the fastest response time for any given job. So it's not a race for raw intelligence anymore. It's a race for practical, hardcore efficiency. And look, you don't have to take my word for it. OpenAI basically said it themselves in their launch announcement. For the products that you and I use every day, speed is the feature, right? That split-second delay or lack thereof, that's the experience. That's what you actually feel, way more than a couple of extra points on some abstract leaderboard. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. Check out the math on this. If you look at the price per token, these new mini and nano models, they're actually more expensive than the last generation. But, and this is the whole point, that's not the metric that matters. What matters is the total cost of work. If you've got a task you need to run over and over again, using the right-sized, zippier model is just way, way cheaper in the long run. See what they're doing? They're not selling you cheaper parts. They're selling you a cheaper, faster finished product. All right, next up, Anthropic owning the factory. So let's shift gears to Anthropic, because their play is different, but it's totally connected. They're looking at the supply side of this whole new economy. So to really get what Anthropic is doing, you have to throw out the old way of thinking about software companies, right? A regular software as a service business, it costs them basically nothing to add one more user. But with AI, it's completely different. Every single time you ask a question, every API call, that costs real money, real electricity, real computer cycles. These guys aren't really software companies anymore. They're high-tech manufacturing plants. And this timeline just lays it all out, doesn't it? This huge multi-gigawatt deal they just signed, that's not some panicked reaction to a recent surge in demand. No way. It's just the next move in a long-term strategy that they've been executing for years. They are literally securing the factory floor, locking down the power and the chips years before they'll even need them. They're making sure that when the demand inevitably goes through the roof, they're the ones who have the capacity to meet it. Okay, last piece of the puzzle, GitHub, the real-world costs. Now, their story might seem a bit smaller, but trust me, it pulls back the curtain on the messy, real-world problems of running these AI factories at scale. So what can we take from this? Well, there are two huge signals here. First, when GitHub pauses free trials because of abuse, they're basically screaming that the cost of fraud isn't some minor nuisance anymore. It is a critical business metric. It's a core operational cost you have to manage. And second, by pushing AI deeper into really valuable workflows, like analyzing security threats, they're showing us the real goal. It's not about making a fancy autocomplete. It's about making AI an absolutely indispensable part of the process. So, the new battlefield, unit economics. Let's put it all together. What happens when you connect these three dots? OpenAI's speed, Anthropic's factory, and GitHub's costs. It means the game has changed. The whole battlefield has moved. It's no longer just about who has the smartest AI. Yeah, the new way to win in AI, the new competitive moat. It's being built with something a lot less sexy than benchmark scores. It's being built with good old-fashioned operational excellence. Can you deliver your AI service cheaper, faster, and more reliably than the next guy? And can you do it at a massive, massive scale? It's a war of unit economics, which is just a fancy term for how much it costs you to deliver one single result to your customer. And this, right here, this is the playbook. This is the new architecture for building products that are both smart and cost-effective. You don't use your heavyweight champion model for every single task. That's just wasteful. Instead, you use that big, powerful model as a kind of manager. It plans the job, breaks it down into smaller pieces, then it farms out all those simple subtasks to a fleet of smaller, cheaper, faster models that can all run at the same time. And only then does the big manager model come back in to pull it all together and give you the final answer. It's like having a whole portfolio of models and using the right tool for every single part of the job. Okay, so let's get practical. Your AI factory playbook. What does all this mean for you, whether you're building with AI or investing in it? It means you need a whole new playbook. You have to start thinking like a factory manager, not just a coder. So here's the bottom line. You have to shift your entire mindset from just picking a model to managing your model accounts. You got to map out your workflows, figure out what's a simple task versus a complex one, and then route the work to the most cost-effective model for the job. You have to track your unit economics like a hawk. It's about managing every single piece of your AI supply chain to squeeze out every drop of efficiency. And that really brings us to the final critical question that this whole shift forces us to ask. In this new age of AI factories, as AI gets woven into the fabric of everything we build, the winners aren't going to be the companies that just rent the biggest, most expensive model. The winners will be the ones who build a smart, efficient, and resilient factory around their AI. So you have to ask yourself, are you building a real product, or are you just renting a very, very expensive tool?